Yo, what's goody, man? We have three ace pitchers on the mound, man. Three. I'm talking top-notch, good arms. Could all possibly have 40-point games. Starting off with those pitchers, we have Corey Kluber, we have Chris Sale, and we have Dallas Keuchel. Kluber is versus the Rockies, Sale is the Rays, and Keuchel is the White Sox. I'm sorry. So yeah, man, three good matchups, man. I think Corey Kluber actually has the toughest matchup out of the aces in my opinion, but I think he possesses the most upside. I know the Rockies they're somewhat dangerous, but if you get them outside of Coors, man, they're not the bee's knees. They don't hit as many homers. I think he had, like, if I'm looking at it from who do I think will strike out the most people tonight, I'm looking at Corey Kluber. But I also think he can give up a few runs, man. So we got to figure this out. Chris Sale, if you look at him, I think he's a lock for tonight, man. He should be solid. Tampa Bay Rays strike out a ton. Not only do they strike out a ton, they have an implied run total of 2.9 tonight, which is very, very low. And if you look at their confirmed lineup, man, it's garbage. We don't have Malik Smith in the lineup. We don't have Corey Dickerson in the lineup. We don't have Lucas Duda in the lineup. So they're putting pretty much their second-tier lineup out there, man. I'm sorry. Malik Smith is batting ninth. I'm sorry. So he's still in there, but yeah, man, their lineup looks a little watered down, man. They don't have near as many power bats in there. And then if you go down and look at Dallas Keuchel, who's about $1,000 cheaper, which is the guy I think I'm going to use all of these guys, man, to be honest, dude. And then I have, like, one other, like, cheap pitcher that I'm going to use. So I'm going to mix and match these guys up. But Dallas Keuchel, man, I think he's been struggling, man. I don't think he's been struggling. I know he's been struggling. But tonight, he's getting a second-tier White Sox lineup, man. At the bottom of their lineup, it's trash, man. They have Kevin Smith batting fifth, man. Like, that's trouble, man. And then the bottom half of this lineup is trash. I think if Dallas Keuchel gets it back, tonight will be the night, man. So hopefully he gets back on track. I know he's just been struggling, man, coming off the DL. He hasn't got into the groove of things. I think tonight is a great night for a bounce-back game. So I'm really high on Dallas Keuchel. I love Chris Sale, and I also love Kluber, man. So I know that's not a lot of help. So all I can do is let you know what I'm going to be doing, man. So I'm going to mix and match these three guys. Also, I'm going to mix and match these three guys with Julio Teheran, a guy who everybody is scared of, man. Nobody likes to play him. I've actually took several chances on him this year, man, and majority of the time it paid off, man. I know at home he tends to struggle. That ballpark is rough. It's really rough for him, but I think he's in a good spot, man, versus the Phillies. He's been pitching pretty decent. Phillies implied run total is 4.1. And his price tag is 6.9. At the beginning of the year, he was in the 9K range, man. So he has a lot of potential, a lot of untapped potential so far this season. I know he'll get the win. I'm pretty confident that Atlanta wins this game easily. So he has that working for him. I think if Atlanta can get an early lead, and he can go out and relax and just, work each batter, I think he'll be in a good spot, man. So I'm loving him tonight too. That's my four pitchers, man. We got the three top dogs and then Julio Teheran. Now there are other options that you can consider. I think Matt Walker is actually in an okay spot. He seems decent. Kenta Maeda, he's actually been pitching above his head, and it threw me off because the temperature in Arizona is 105 degrees, and you have a little wind blowing out. But the team implied run totals in this game is very low, man. It's not very low, but for a Diamondbacks ballpark is very low, 4.8 to a 4.3. So that scares me because Vegas has the other team ranked so low. I think they really, really believe in Kenta Maeda. Myself personally, I don't think I'm a rock with him, man. I think this game goes over what Vegas has it at for sure. Zach Golly's been pitching pretty good too. But I think this game goes over, man. I think we see these bats come alive. I think it's going to be a shootout. I like this as a game stacking option, man. And I know it'll be under owned because the pitching on both sides is decent, man. It's not like two bum pitchers. But, you know, that's just my take on that. I know I've been hearing a lot about Kenta Maeda, so I wanted to just mention him for a second. Jose Katana is also in a really good spot, man. Going up against the Giants. He actually may be the play tonight, man. I think he will be one of the lower owned pitchers just because he's not as expensive as the Chris Sales, and most people that'll get up to that price will go ahead and try to get up to a Sale or Keuchel or Kluber. So I think his ownership could be very low. We know he's in a positive ballpark. And we know the Giants have been stinking, man. They've been terrible. They're not as good against lefties. So that's another thing working for Jose Katana. Anybody else I wanted to talk about? I think that's pretty much it on the pitching end of things. Yeah, I don't see anybody else I want to take a chance on. So let's move on to the bats, man. I'm going to give you my stacks. I think I'm going to run through each game, actually, and tell you if it's a stackable situation or not. First game, Detroit and Pirates. Matt Boyd is terrible. Pirates implied run total is 4.8. I think they're decent. Definitely not my top stacking option. And Detroit they've been struggling versus righties. Their implied run total is 3.8. I actually used a few Detroit bats for some cheap options with that with my Keuchel. No, not Dallas Keuchel. My Kluber and Sale lineup. I used a few of these bats. And Chad Kuhl, man, he had a really good game his last time out, I believe. But I don't think he's dominant, man. I think you can do a few one-offs. I'm not going to stack this completely up. It's not calling my name. You know what I'm saying? There's some really good spots out here that I like. Next game, we have Miami and Washington. Vance Worley, A.J. Cole. Implied run total 4.6 to a 5.5. I think this is a game stacking option. Washington is definitely in a really good spot, man. The Nationals, they don't play. Y'all know that, man. They're in a good spot. High implied run total, below average pitcher. A good hitting environment, man. It's 80 degrees out there. That's pretty solid. And then on Miami side, man, A.J. Cole he's a nobody, man. You can attack if you want. I would stack up on some of these lefties. You know, they have you got a punt catcher option in their lineup tonight. That's something to look at. Yeah, that's a game stacking option, man. The next game we have Yankees versus the Blue Jays, CC versus J.A. Happ. Implied run total 4.3 to 4.8. These teams play each other all the time. We have two sneaky pitchers. I don't think this game gets out of hand, so for that reason, I'm not going to stack it. I'm going to kind of just ignore this one. I'm going to just ignore it, man. I do think there's potential, though. Like, if you wanted to, you know, potentially do a Toronto stack versus CC or a Yankee stack versus J.A. Happ, man, I wouldn't be totally opposed. But, you know, I think there's just better options, man. Like I said, I think they're two decent pitchers, so I'm going to let that one slide. Next game, we have the Padres versus the Reds. Implied run total 4.2 to a 4.9. Perdomo versus Sal. In this one, man, I think the Cincinnati Reds are in a good spot. We know it's a small ballpark. But I also think the Padres are in an okay spot. I'm not stacking this one. But a few one-offs, of course. Same with the next game with the Rangers and the Mets. Decent implied run totals, below average pitchers. You know, you can pick and choose your spots, but it's not something that's calling my name. I don't want to put all my chips in the basket on none of those teams. And then we get down to the Kluber and the Rockies, the game I was talking about. Cleveland bats are in play. They have an implied run total of 5. Marquez, he's actually been okay. The majority of the season, he's been pretty decent. But I don't think I necessarily want to stack Cleveland. I just have some stacks, man, that I really dig tonight. But yeah, man, I do think you can pick some of these Cleveland bats, man. We all know Cleveland can explode anytime. Moving on to the next one, Chris Sale. I already told you about Chris Sale, the Rays. I'm not stacking them up. And then you have Austin Pruitt on the other end, man. I think Boston could really light this fella up. I think they could really shake it. The thing that's kind of drawing me away from Boston, though, their implied run total is moving down. So that's scaring me a little bit. But I do think Boston is definitely in play 100%. Still not stacking them, though, man. Still not stacking them. On games where I'm not stacking, man, I'm just looking for a few bats who have a good position in the order, man, who I think can make some solid contact on the ball. Now we down to my first stack, man, a team that I actually want to stack up. We have the Phillies versus the Braves, man. Zach Eflin going up against Atlanta. Atlanta's implied run total is 5.5. I'm all over this one, man. It's a really good ballpark for hitters. Zach Eflin is not a good pitcher. I'm taking me some Freeman. I'm taking Inciarte. I'm taking everybody, man. I even went super cheap at the bottom end of their lineup. I don't know how to pronounce the shortstop's name, but I plugged him in. He's at 2.5 today. I think he's in a really solid spot. Next team that I want to stack up is Houston versus Derek Holland, man. We all know what Houston does. If we get George Springer back in the lineup, that's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be lovely. He's been balling, man. He's been really just balling out. They just said Cashner got scratched for tonight. I wonder who's gonna replace him. But yeah, I'm all over Houston, man. They have an implied run total of 5.9, man. That's gold. One of my other favorite stacks is going to be Minnesota. They have an implied run total of 5.4 going up against Matt Garza. Vegas has this game shooting up, man. Like the implied run total keeps moving up. So I'm all over this one. Matt Garza is buns to me. Buns. He's dead. Another game stack we could do, like I was saying, was the Dodgers and Diamondbacks. I'm not really rocking with Seattle, Oakland. I do think the Angels are in play, man. I do think the Angels are in play versus Hellickson. And then my last actual stack is going to be the Chicago Cubbies, man. I'm all over them. They're going up against Trey Bloch. He's been pretty decent, man. He sucks though. Like he don't strike out a ton of batters. He gets out of trouble, man. But I think the Cubs are going to get to him tonight. We have a little wind blowing out, so that's always a positive for the hitters. I think the Cubs have too much power to try to keep, just getting away with ground balls, man. That's pretty much what he does. So that's going to do it, man. That's my stacks. Those are my pitchers. I'm going to reiterate my stacks again, my top stacks. My top stacks is going to be Atlanta, Houston, Minnesota, Cubbies, and then a few game stacking options is going to be the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Washington, Miami, and I feel like I had one more, but maybe that was it. Yeah, that's going to do it, man. AJ Griffin is going to be replacing Andrew Cashner, just for future reference. Y'all gonna see it in a little bit. But that's gonna do it, man. Y'all bless up. Have a wonderful night, man. Cash out. Get to the green line. Make sure you subscribe to me, man. Make sure you hit me with a like, a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Y'all bless up, man. Let's cash out.